anti-air campaign with a Chinese aircraft carrier. I think Putin has made it very clear that his blitz in Syria is going to stand.
Let me ask you this, Greg.
Unless he wins.
Geopolitically, why do they want Assad to stay as opposed to go?
They don't care whether he stays or not. Putin doesn't give a damn. Putin is saying enough with America. He's drawing the line against us.
That's what it is.
In fact, his foreign minister yesterday announced in his most recent speech, Putin's foreign minister said, he waved his hand mockingly at the press corps, waved his hand. This is a foreign press corps. Didn't get reported, but he said, by the way, your New World Order thing, it's over.
And I got to tell you, in a very strange way, the only candidate to get this is Donald Trump.
Isn't that sad? Because he has no chance of getting the election.
You know, as much as a front runner as he is right now, I think you're right. Something strange is going to happen.
He can't get the delegates. The party decides the delegates. They're already buying the delegates to flip for Jeb Bush.
You still think Jeb, with his minuscule polling, is going to pop up there?
Well, you're polling voters. Voters don't matter. It's the money and the delegates that matter, and the money buys the delegates.
It's going to be interesting.
We don't have an electoral system. We have a system that we have 535 civilian contractors in the House and the Senate, bought and paid for. I think Boehner left because he finally realized this chicken's going to come home to roost.
Leeds, Alabama. Noel's with us. Hey, Noel.
National interest, I said, that's where the line will draw, and we will be at war with a real army.
What do you
Not
think?
a Vietnamese army or an Afghan army or a beat-up old wreck of an army like the Iraqi army. I'm talking about a Russian military that is our equal in every capacity.
Is this time for China to try to take Taiwan, which is what they wanted?
Why wouldn't they? If Russia goes to war with America in Syria, what would stop China from taking Japan if they wanted to? The point here is this.
30 seconds
the
before the break.
oligarchy that is running the United States, do they really care whether America were to win or lose this war?
No, because most of them don't even live here.
They don't. And their interests aren't here. They're global.
That's right. They've got their houses in the Bahamas or God knows where. They're gone. Stick with us. We're going to
corporate megalomania. This is when I left the military, I went into the corporate world to become a capitalist pig and make as much money as possible and move to Switzerland.
That's what you wanted to do.
That's what I was going to do. That's where I was headed when Kathy DePass met me. That's what I was doing. I was actively pursuing that when she met me. I was referred to euphemistically as the kid in Los Angeles, in the accounts that I had. And I had the largest corporate accounts in the nation in Houston and L.A. When I realized what they were up to, when I went into the boardrooms at that level and began to understand that they were doing exactly the same thing as what the Pentagon was doing. The boardrooms were a war room. The pins on the maps designated areas to be taken over. They were targets to be taken over and eliminated, competitors to be eliminated. I subscribe to a daily app that I get every merger and acquisition in the Western world, mostly the United States. Every single morning, there's over 100 corporations up for mergers and acquisitions.
Oh,
there
is
incredible. No free enterprise system.
I, as you know, spent a lot of time in St. Louis, and one of the big corporations there was always Anheuser-Busch, which got bought out by a company called InBev, and that company just made an offer to buy Miller for like $100 billion.
There it is.
And
okay.
Miller's
fighting to take place in every industry that matters.
Unbelievable.
Always use that word. Always understand the language I use. That matter. The politics that matter. There's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans about the issues that matter. Mergers and acquisitions will eliminate all competition. When I realized that, I liquidated my corporation and began doing this work publicly, full-time, for the last 35 years.
Has this been beneficial?
Completely ineffective.
I was going to say, has this been beneficial to you personally?
Absolutely not. I filed bankruptcy about 10 years ago, got back on my feet, and we're barely making it as we speak. There's no way to make money doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing.
No.
There's the only way to do it and not be owned. I can't be fired.
Why do you do this?
because I care about my country and my grandchildren and the future of this country. And if the American people would hear this information well enough over a long enough period of time and communicate it with their friends and family, the American people could change the course of history because we still have to vote. Otherwise, one of these days we're going to wake up and we're not going to have the vote.
But then you'll be on my show going, I told you so. But it'll be
And
too
then you
late.
probably won't have a show.
I'll be with you. Maybe in Switzerland.
Look, when the news stories come out simultaneously, the same paper I'm publishing about what's going on in Syria, Ukraine, North Africa, AFRICOM, I'm publishing articles that say U.S. corporations are hiding $2.1 trillion overseas. On your show, I reported through the Levy Institute, $23 trillion was taken from the Treasury and the Federal Reserve and lent out to corporations and banks throughout the entire world. 23 trillion American dollars
Gone.
went overseas. It's gone. So I ask you a question. If the same oligarchy that's calling the shots at the Pentagon in the war in Ukraine, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Libya, throughout the entire world, in other words, everywhere. We're at war everywhere. What do they care if we lose? America loses.
They don't.
What do they care if America, you and I, lose?
Because all they want is the asset.
Because at the end of the day, who will have to borrow money from Goldman Sachs to put Halliburton, Brown, and Root back in business to rebuild Iraq, Syria, Libya?